Welcome aboard, welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube. It's me, Alexander, speaking. I'm your host. I am the one who is talking to you, but you won't see me, but only my hands, and of course the superstars of this video.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
And the superstars are the new Breitling Chronomat. Is the new Chronomat collection, or Chronomats in plural. I do have 9 watches here, the entire collection. I was happy enough to get them. It's pretty difficult these days, as you can imagine, but the watches are there. And let me just start right away with an iconic piece of that collection. And I'm not showing it by coincidence to the camera to start away. This is the Frecce Tricolori version of that new Chronomat that is also part of the collection. That's a limited edition, the only watch that is limited in the new collection. It's limited to 250 pieces. Why do I show the Frecce Tricolori belonging to that famed Italian aerial squadron? Because it was in 1983 when Breitling launched this chronograph with the Frecce Tricolori, and 1 year later, in 1984, the Chronomat collection followed. So this was the initial chronograph that brought back Breitling into business, that as many collectors say, brought also back the mythic chronograph after the quartz crisis, and really showed that there is much more than a dumb quartz watch. I have been able to wear it for a couple of hours. It's really comfortable on your wrist. I will now take away or lay beside the Frecce Tricolori edition, and I will jump right into the details of that collection. So I choose the one with the salmon dial and the black subcounters to run you through a little bit. And to start from the beginning, we are seeing a Chronomat, the new edition, 2020 edition, completely redone. There are, of course, design similarities with the version we knew before, but everything is new, everything is much better, feels better, and so on. So this is a 42mm case. The height of the case is 15.10 millimeters, so 42 millimeters and 15.10. There we go from the side. Here you see it very nicely. And what is also very much requested, and things you always want to know, is the lug-to-lug distance. And the lug-to-lug distance is, I've been measuring it with this equipment. As you can see, it's 50.03 millimeters. 50.03 millimeters is the lug-to-lug distance of the new Chronomat. All the watches have a see-through case back where you can see the Breitling B01 movement, and there is no exception. So all the watches feature that see-through case back. All the watches have a screwed-in crown. It's a screwed-in crown with 2 gaskets. The case is waterproofed up to 20 bars or 200 meters. I'm just trying to turn the watch around in front of the camera and film if there is the view I wanted. And then what you perfectly see, that the push pieces, start-stop push pieces, are no longer screwed down, so they are integrated, and you don't need to unscrew anything to start, stop, or reset your chronograph. And you perfectly see they are also aligned with the crown, and this already shows us that, of course, we are talking about a fully integrated chronograph movement and not a movement that has been built up on a module as we often used to see. So it's a Breitling B01. It's a chronograph that offers 70 hours of power reserve, a chronograph that the balance wheel of the chronograph oscillates with 28,800 semi-oscillations per hour, and that's a 4 Hertz chronograph, so you will have indicated on the dial when the chronograph is running 1/8 of a second. The next question, and something a lot of you have been asking, is the bezel. The bezel is the same we used to see, but of course adapted to the new look and the new design of the watch. It is only turning counterclockwise, of course. There we go. It's counterclockwise turning. Yep. I would say it feels perfectly, mechanically perfectly. The rider tabs, we see the rider tabs with 45, 30, 15 seconds, and the rider tab with that little superluminova dot can be, if someone wants, that's what Breitling told me, be exchanged. So there are screws here. I have to, yes, here are the screws. There is one. We probably see it, yes. Of course, there's another screw here. And so on. So if you are interested in changing the position of these riders to whatever you would like to measure or maybe time, so you can put your personal order on it. What you would need is a little screwdriver, something like this, and you could unscrew them. But personally, I would not recommend doing this, because in case you are not having a perfect calm hand, if you shake a little and if you slide from the screw, that tiny screw, you will probably scratch the beautifully polished bezel. So unless you are not really having the perfect calm hand or fingers, I would not recommend you doing this, and probably go to your watchmaker and ask him to exchange those rider tabs in the position you want them to be. So now next, let me run you quickly also through the dial. The dial features sub-counters. So we have the running second that is positioned at 9 o'clock here. We have the 12-hour counter belonging to the chronograph, positioned at 6 o'clock, always with all the dial variations I'm going to show you now. The date is integrated in the sub-counter, and of course Breitling also adopted color-wise the date wheel, so you will always see the date dial or date wheel in the same color as the sub-counter is. And this is the 30-minute counter, also belonging to the chronograph. What is written on the dial? We see Breitling, we see the B, we see Breitling 1884, then we see chronometer. Why chronometer? Because all Breitling movements, 100% of the Breitling production is 100% chronometer certified by COSC, the Swiss Chronometer Testing Institute. So all movements by Breitling are officially chronometer certified. And then we see the name Chronomat on the dial. What you also have is a tachymeter scale and a scale from 1 to 100. So tachymeter scale on the Reuho, as you call it in French, and on the inner side of the Reuho in red colors you have a scale from 0 to 100. So these are the main features. Important, what I like to show and explain if I have such a new watch in my hands is also when you start and stop the chronograph. Start, stop. It's always good to get a feeling of how perfectly the watchmakers have been adjusting the movement when assembling it. And it is a big difference, and some of you who probably have had more than just one chronograph in their hands will know what I'm talking about. It is that perfect force, that perfect point you have when you press the push piece to start stop. There is not an undefined area where probably there will be that little moment when you start it. It's a very precisely defined moment. There you go, stop and stop, start. And this is fantastic. And this is something that you will only have on in-house chronographs on chronographs that are done in a way as the Breitling B01 is. And among us, I can tell you the Breitling B01 is one of the best chronograph movements that is on the market. One proof is that also Tudor is getting it from Breitling, and the Tudor people are buying it and using it in their movement, in their own watches. And this is not a flyback chronograph, so we have to stop and reset. So in case the chronograph is running, there is no way of resetting the chronograph to 0, so it's not a flyback chronograph. Once again, that's feeling, it's really gorgeous. I can't stop pushing. It's really gorgeous. Well, next question to answer lots of questions that you have been asking. The rouleau bracelet, the famous rouleau bracelet. How does it feel? It is extremely comfortable. For it's very massive. You really have something in your hands and on your wrist. It's very comfortable and astonishingly smooth. I touch it wherever I can, the entire watch, and there is not a single part of the surface that is sharp. That's perfectly manufactured. No, there's nothing. Not on the butterfly folding clasp. Everything I touch with my fingers is perfectly smooth. And this is incredible. This remembers me very much of the quality of the bracelets in the time being able used to manufacture. And maybe some of you remember those wonderful Able bracelets. They were the smoothest in the industry, and Breitling is not far away from this, I have to say. Perfect. So the watch has a butterfly clasp. There it is. We can see it. And to answer the next question, can you adjust the length of the bracelet without using a tool? No, this is not possible. The minimum equipment you need is a few watchmaking tools. But what I want to show you is that there are little arrows. I have to open the clasp here. There are little arrows. There's one here. There is another one here, and there's another one here. Of course, 1, 2, 3. The same we would have at the other side, and since I already opened it, we will only find 2 arrows left on this side. So these arrows do already give you a hint how you probably can change or you can adjust the length of the bracelet. So what you need is, let me show you. I have been preparing this for you. That's it's a little bracelet changing tool. Looks like a little table where you insert the bracelet. The tool has some holes, of course, because we are going now to take away the pin. There are pins holding the elements of the bracelet together. They are not screwed, they are pinned. There are pins. There's a pin and a tube. And then what we need is a kind of a chisel, a sharp chisel. Maybe this is something you can easily buy online. That's nothing spectacular, to be honest. A chisel. With the chisel, you will then point at one of the pins, and then what you need is a wooden hammer, something like this. It's simply wooden hammer, nothing special. And with that wooden hammer, you knock with the chisel on the pins, and the pins will slide out. And then what you have, I will not make so much noise. You will have the tube. This is the tube. And you will have the pin. They come out of the bracelet, and this is one of the elements that is then detached. And so you can easily, pretty easily adjust the length of that bracelet. So to show you what's happening, this is the part there where the pin goes in and the tube. You can see it. These are the parts. And you first insert the tube, then you insert to the bracelet belonging element, and then you readjust it. Pretty easy, no rocket science, you don't need to be a trained watchmaker. This can be done, I would say, with a little bit of experience by almost everyone here. Okay, well, this, as just said, is the bracelet. Very smooth, in fact, perfectly going around the wrist. I do wear one of the chronomats here on my wrist, so you can see a wrist shot. And I will also quickly run you through the other models just in a second and show you how those look on the wrist. So this is the chronomat with a blue dial and deep blue sub-counters, and as you can see, fits good on my wrist. I do have a 17 centimeter wrist, and yes, the watch is heavy, this is true, but I have to say, once the watch is got on your wrist and you got used to the weight of a watch with a metal bracelet, it's no longer bothering you, it's really comfortably fitting on your wrist, looks good. And yeah, size-wise, this is something I cannot give you any advice, because who knows what your personal taste is. Before I run you through the other models and I showed them you on my wrist, I want to answer also a request coming from one of you. Someone asked me to show the date change if the jump of the date disc is instantaneous or not. So I just have been looking if the watch is good in the picture. It is. And now I will go on until midnight to show you this date change. And now please watch carefully. We are seeing the 6th. And now we are approaching midnight. We are approaching midnight, slowly, 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 and yes, 1 minute, about 1 minute to midnight, the date is jumping. So it is really that what you expect from such a chronograph. This also gives me the occasion, once I open the crown, to show you the watch with the crown open. This is how it looks like, and I will screw it in again, so you need to press, and then yeah, with a little bit of some strength that's necessary, you screw it. It's a screw down crown, has 2 positions, 3 positions in total. The one is to wind the watch, to change the date, and to set the hours and minutes. And once it is screwed down, double gaskets will prevent including a double gasket will help to keep the case waterproof up to 200 meters, as I already mentioned. Here once again a view on that beautiful chronograph movement from Breitling, the B01. I probably have to quickly clean. I see. Yeah, once you touch the watch, since a lot of the surfaces are polished also, matte and polished surfaces, the bezel is polished, and you have matte surfaces, of course, but once you touch the watch with your fingers, you always have fingerprints on, and this is something I didn't want to show you, my fingerprints. This is the chronograph movement I did not probably mention before. It's a column wheel chronograph, of course, a column wheel driven chronograph with a vertical clutch. I did not mention that before. 70 hours of power reserve, I thought I said already. Okay, then let me show you the Bentley edition. That's not limited, but the Bentley edition is the one with a green dial. A very nice color. It's difficult to get the right color in the camera, but I'm trying best here. As you can see, green with black counters. This is called Bentley edition. You can also see the word Bentley being engraved. Yes, maybe like this. Bentley being engraved on the see-through case bottom. And still staying in the steel steel versions. This is a gray dial with black sub counters. Very nice. I can put it on my wrist. It's that folding clasp. Chuck to show you. That's the folding clasp. If you want to take it off, you push the buttons and it opens. Let me put the gray one quickly on my wrist. The problem is now that this is the length. It's okay. The gray, that's how the gray one looks. You see, 17 centimeter wrist. 40 millimeters is the case. 15.1 millimeter the height, and to say that one again, the lug-to-lug distance is 50 millimeters 50.03 millimeters is the lug-to-lug distance. But there we go. Then black. I have a black one here. Very nice. The black one. Yep. Feels a bit cold when you put them on. The entire stainless steel has to warm up, so the first seconds when you put it on feels a bit cold, but that doesn't last very long. So the Frecce Tricolori for you on my wrist. Yes, Frecce Tricolori, and you see this bracelet has not been adjusted. You see the length, so they really, they come with a lot of, let's say, reserve, just in case you have a big wrist. And definitively there are some adjustments necessary before you can wear the watch. You see that? That's how much you get. For me, much too big. If you are more into steel and gold, Breitling offers several possibilities. This is a steel version, and the rider tabs on the bezel are in gold. The rider tabs are in gold. The push pieces are in gold. The crown is in gold. The hands and the indexes on the dial are also in gold with that version here. Very nice. Always stays the same watch. Case, always see-through case bottom, of course. So if you like more gold, this is the next offer Breitling has. So what you have here is a completely 18 karat gold bezel. The rider tabs are in gold, the push pieces, the crown are in gold, and this is nice to show, some elements of the rouleau bracelet in the middle are made out of gold. So this makes a really steel gold watch with a very nice blue dial, tone-in-tone sub-counters, and yes, but still, as always, same watch with a see-through case button. Yes, and for those who really want to go in gold, Breitling, of course, offers the Chronomat also in an 18 karat gold case with a deep gray dial and black sub counters. Everything is in gold: the bezel, the case, the push pieces, the crown. You have a pin buckle, not a butterfly one. You have a pin buckle. And there is one little difference I want to show you on the movement. This is specific to this model. When you exactly look here, parts of the rotor are also in gold, but it is still the B01. This is just, let's say, a design. Doesn't bring any technical advantage. Looks good, but this part of the rotor is in gold, and this is only done and only available in the gold version of the Chronomat. This 18 karat gold. Here you go. Yes, and has a rubber strap. Looks gorgeous and is really a solid piece of watch you have in your hands. So let me bring back the Frecce Tricolori. There you go. Let me once again show you the watch from the side, show you how beautiful smooth the bracelet, the rouleau bracelet is, the folding clasp opens up smoothly. And once again, no sharp edges. That's astonishing. The entire watch, I would never normally touch a watch like this because you will have a lot of fingerprints then, but there's no piece, not a single part, nothing. I can touch it wherever I want, and there's no sharp edge. I would have told you there's absolutely not a single sharp edge on that watch, and this is really spectacular. Also here, and this very often when you open the clasps of watches, you have sharp edges, but there's nothing. It's smooth, smoothened, perfectly done. I would say that rouleau bracelet is really that what you expect from such a watch in such a price range. And the prices, as you have seen, have been shown to you with the watches as they appeared in the screen. And what I wanted to say also that, of course, there is the watch also is fully equipped or fully filled up with a superluminova. So at night, there is the picture. You can see how the watch looks like at night. The superluminova is quite okay, will shine quite bright, and you can easily read the time at night. So back to light, back to the daylight, and yes, with the picture I started. I need to clean it. And with the picture I started, I want to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I could answer all your questions. If you still have questions, please let me know. Use the comment section here underneath. Ask me, and I'm more than happy to answer all the questions that could still be there. But my opinion is that Chronomat really is an alternative to many other steel watches with a massive steel bracelet. It's a very good looking watch. It is a watch that due to its design is recognized easily, and we also have to say that is the chronograph that in 1983 was kind of the revival of the mechanical chronograph in the Swiss watch industry after the quartz crisis. And we have to say, until today, it has not lost any of its sex appeal. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you very soon, and stay safe and sound, and goodbye.